allow you to take a look at portfolios. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it's going to hit the mark exactly right. It won't look completely across all organizations from a functional perspective, but it'll get closer. And it'll also allow, and this is a little bit self-serving on O&D's part, but it will allow them to have a portfolio perspective on what investments are being made in support of their initiatives. So how many investments are moving towards cloud computing? We heard a lot about cloud computing. And so they need to measure and know how many people are investing money and how much money is being invested in moving towards cloud computing. How much money is being spent on, or from their perspective, how much money is not being spent as a result of data center consolidation. So this will give them an idea of what kind of portfolios are in place for their particular initiatives. It'll have some powerful search capabilities, and there'll be tools to drill down into the data a little bit more and to visualize certain things, kind of in a little bit more of a free form. So, the first iteration of the dashboard was basically, here's what you got, here's what you get. And so that's it. The last piece here is a little bit novel. I don't know about you all, but when I'm traveling, the very first thing I want to do is I want to get on my BlackBerry and I want to look at the status of my investments on my mobile device. Because I need to know that in real time. And I'm being funny, obviously, but there may be times when that's important. When you need to check the status of an investment. Maybe you're in a meeting or something like that, and somebody asks you a question, and all you've got is your BlackBerry with you, or whatever PDA of choice you had. And so this will give you the opportunity to do that. And I've been in those positions. I actually keep a file in my little leather binder that I carry with me everywhere that has a listing of all of our investments and what the current status is, how much money we're investing this year, next year, etc. And I use it as a reference. So this will give me a little bit more information and allow me to do this in a little bit more of an untethered type of a way. So Debbie, you think these enhancements might improve things a little bit? No, you don't think so? Okay, tell me the truth. Tell me how you really feel, Debbie. Tell me, lay it out there. Come on. Okay. Okay. I figured I'd get something out of Debbie. She's retired. What can they do? But anyway. Sorry, Deb. Oh, now you've got comments. Okay. So I'll leave that one alone, I guess. All right, so these are some of the features that you're probably going to see. So let's move on to this slide. So this is kind of where we are right now, and it's a busy slide, right? Anybody read this eye chart? I know you can't, John, and Mary can. They've seen it before. But and the reality is, this is something that we've all had to deal with. And so, you've got a bunch of things going on somewhere, wherever it is. So you got a bunch of things going on down at the bottom in the agencies. And then at the next level up horizontally, or vertically rather, you've got a series of processes that are engaged, and you have different performance measures. Anybody had to report performance measures to OMB? I know I have. I mean, we spend a lot of time reporting status and performance to OMB. And I might say that the way we report that depends on what? It depends on what OMB wants at the moment. You know, now I'm willing to admit that, you know, they've got a huge job and they need to have information when they need it for whatever purpose, whether they're responding to Congress, you know, whether they're responding to, you know, some query from the White House, you know, whether they're responding to some kind of a watchdog group. You know, I mean, they've got a big job, and there's a lot of information that they need. But I think that, you know, what we can do is we can say, okay, here's the things that we know that we're going to need to keep track of. There are certain things that represent progress, status, and performance. And so we can take a look at that. And so we've kind of taken an approach at that in the past. What we've got is, if you look on the left-hand side of the slide here, you've got the PAR reports. That's been around for a long time. We've been required to report that stuff. Anybody ever have anybody ask them about their PAR report? I never have. I never have, but we're required to submit this information. And so on the next one in to the right, you've got your what is commonly referred to as your ESER. For those of you that are not architects, that's the Enterprise Architecture Segment Report. And so this is one of the first attempts at creating a standardized format and collecting standardized information. And surprisingly, and I know this won't surprise anybody out here, you know, this is one of the most recent reports that we've got. So they're starting to think about these things. They're starting to say, okay, well, what information do we really need to support enterprise architecture? What information do we need to demonstrate that enterprise architecture is being done well? Now, I'm going to ask John Sullivan what he thinks about this, because, you know, John has worked on this probably more than anybody. So, are we there yet, John?
No, we're not there yet at all. We're on one hand, you know, PART is gone, the EASRs are gone. What we don't have is the new direction of what the pieces are coming. At the bottom of the stack, I mean, the problem is, across the board, people don't know how to write milestones. So what you see in 300s don't tell you much of a story. And the story that's told sometimes is just a story. And I often said that, you know, I'd be happy if I would see verbs in milestones, you know, do something. Don't just put words on the page. So we have a lot of work, and I also think we have 3 different layers of milestones that we're trying to get towards. This cost and schedule and performance. This is project being managed. There's milestones towards, you've got an architectural vision. Are you halfway there, 3/4 of the way? You know, where's your